So I'm here with Daylin Lavoie, and I've known you for a couple of years now. And something that really interested me about you is how hard of a worker you are and your work ethic, but you seem to still be struggling with your weight. And it's something that when you realized that I was a nutritionist, you were always interested in me helping you out. So today I wanna dig deeper into who is Daylin, how is she such a powerhouse at what she does, how is she such a successful businesswoman, but struggles with losing weight. And I think your story is something that a lot of people can relate to. So I wanted to interview you and kind of get a little deeper behind why are you struggling with your weight, when did this start, and what we can do going forward to try and help you reach your goals. Because I know you have goals. You want to lose 50 to 60 pounds over the next year, I think you said.
Over the next year. Overall, like 120.
Which that's fine. We don't want to, we don't want to set those like the grandiose goals and focus on those. Even focusing on like 1 pound a week, I think is a solid, like good first step. Sure. A lot of people that I work with, I tend to say, don't try to lose too much weight too quick, because that has its issues as well. So to begin, I want to go through the questionnaire I had you fill out before I came to talk to you. And you answered, the question was, what is your motivation for losing weight? And you answered very broadly. You said health.
Yeah.
So what does that mean to you? Like, is that a number on the scale? Is that a mental state? Like, when you think health, like what do you think? What does Daylin think?
So when I just said health, it's literally like I just want to be healthy. I'm not too worried. I've never been like somebody who gets down about the way that I look. It just never. I feel pretty. I feel sexy. I feel fine. But when it comes to being able to have movements the way that I want to, like in my job or personal life or playing with my dog, like I want to run in the backyard with my puppy, and I can't because I'm like afraid I'm gonna fall and break my ankle. Like I'm just, because of the weight, like that, it restrains me from doing a lot of things that I want to do. I'm afraid to be on a plane because I'm afraid the seats are gonna be, even though I know they have bigger seats, like, I'm afraid that the seats are gonna be too small. I'm gonna feel claustrophobic. I'm gonna feel I feel like if I was thinner and healthier, I wouldn't be as afraid to do a lot of things that I want to do. So mainly health is really just the top priority. Obviously I would be happy to be thinner and get into better looking clothing and like find shoes that fit and my ankles aren't swollen, things like that. But when it comes to the overall, I'd like to get off of my blood pressure medication. I want to make sure that I don't get diabetes because I've been overweight now for over 22 years altogether. So I know that there's only so much that my body is going to take, and I want to try to get healthy before I get any more issues, because my high blood pressure has already brought me a lot of other issues just by being on blood pressure medication.
Okay. So your main concern is your physical health.
Yes.
Like you're struggling, it's affecting your job, it's affecting your daily life. And I mean, just admitting this is half the battle.
Yeah.
Like that's just getting that out there and saying, this is my issue, I need to address this. That's really good that you're doing that. Yeah. So when you say your blood pressure has caused you issues, what other health issues have come from your blood pressure?
The blood pressure medication has dehydrated my skin. The number one thing is my eyes. I suffer from severe dry eyes now. I have, I'm always, not always thirsty. I'm not really thirsty, but I'm always just like dehydrated. Even though I'm not thirsty, I feel like my mouth is always dry.
Do you have eczema? Like in dry skin?
During the winter months, I'll get it here and there. I do have it like on my scalp, on the inside of my nose, the inside of my ears. Like it dries me out, where all of these things I think are affected by it, by the blood pressure medication.
And how long have you been on the blood pressure meds?
I want to say 4 years now, or maybe 4 or 5 years, yeah.
Okay. You've had issues with fluid in your legs?
Mm-hmm, yeah. I mean, I don't suffer from, I forget what it's called, that thing that people get that like their legs are always swollen with fluid.
Edema?
Yeah, I don't have that.
Okay.
I just have, like, when I cut out salt, my ankle kind of goes down back to its normal size. I can fit into all of my shoes. I can go buy shoes. But right now I can't wear, boots. I can't wear a lot of things just because, like, my shoe size used to be like an 8.5, and I literally have to wear a size 10 because of my ankle size. So yeah, because they're always swollen. So like most of the time I have to wear shoes that are, a little bit bigger in the inside, like lengthwise, just so that the foot itself can fit. Yeah. Because it got bigger from the weight. So
right. And you hit a really key point there, because you said when you eat less salt, the swelling goes down. So
salt and sugar.
Yeah, so that's a double-edged sword, because you can knock out two birds with one stone there. You can reduce your blood pressure and also bring down the swelling. And salt is a huge part of my program, my protocol. What I recommend to people is reducing salt and finding substitutes. Yeah. But it's really hard because salt is extremely addicting. It's an acquired taste. Yeah. Like babies they're not born wanting salt. It's something that's gradually, it's introduced into our diets. It's not something that we naturally crave or seek. If you drink a lot of salt water in the ocean, like you spit it out because it's nasty. Too much of it, it's very overpowering. So if we can retrain our taste buds to be satisfied on less salt, that's a huge step in controlling your health and making yourself less dependent on it in the long run. Yeah. And there's a lot of salt substitutes. You can use potassium instead of sodium, and things like Mrs. Dash, low sodium. I'm sure you know all about that with Justin.
No, when I say like, so I don't add, like at home, whenever we cook at home, we use the Mrs. Dash. I even have the fake salt too. Okay. So we bought that, like, remember this last time when I had my blood pressure that rose, and I ended up having to get on more blood pressure medication. Because as of 6 months ago, I was only on a water pill. I had gotten off of my blood pressure medication like 2 years ago, and I only stayed on a water pill.
So like a diuretic?
A diuretic, yeah. But then 3 months ago, they ended up having to put me on a actual, like, larger dose, meaning like now I'm on 2 blood pressure medications instead of 1, because I was just eating really, really bad. So at that point, we purchased the fake salt. So I had been using that. So that definitely works. But when I say that I'm like eating too much salt, it's mainly because we eat out so much. So eating out, they're the ones who are adding all of the salt. So at home, when we cook at home, I'm really not a big salt person. Like, I don't like my foods being salty, but when we go out to eat, whatever they do to that food.
And I mean, restaurants are notorious for that. Like they want the food to taste good. Yeah. So when you go out, is it an attitude of, I'm going out, I'm gonna treat myself, I'm gonna get whatever, and it's not, in the long run, you're more focused on at home, I'm gonna eat healthy, but when I go out, I want to have fun. Is that kind of the?
Yeah. I mean, at home too. Like, there's times that I'll say, I'm going to eat at home, and I don't care what I eat as long as I'm eating it at home. Like, if I'm going to make pasta, at least I'm making the pasta at home instead of eating it at Olive Garden, like where they're adding extra stuff. But yeah, no, when we go out, when I go out to eat, it's mainly just a treat for me. It's time for me to like separate myself from my duties that I have to do, like everything that I have to do. I kind of put all of that in the back burner, and I go treat myself every time. But the problem is that it happens 2 times a day, 7 times a week.
That's you. Yes, you're eating out. Or?
Yeah, because typically it's like lunch and then dinner. So I mean, sometimes we'll eat at home. Like, I mean, we do eat at home. Like, we'll have months where we're eating at home a lot more than going out. But for, there's weeks that we're like super busy, and I'm just like, I mean, I know it's going to take me way less time to make something here, but I put that in the back, and I say, well, let me just go get something, because I think that it separates me from what I'm doing. And if I'm still at home, I'm still stressed out about the work that I'm doing. So it's the hard part about having your job be at home. It's like the big thing. It's like, unless we are out doing weddings and sessions, we're at home. So you don't want to keep being at home. You want to go out. Right. You don't want to be like, if you're stuck in the office, let's say for you, you're stuck in the office for 8 hours. If you get a 1 hour lunch break, do you want to eat it?
Correct.
You want to leave your job? You want to leave.
It's a great analogy. Yeah, I understand completely. Like like you said, it separates you. It gives you that sense of a break, and mentally and physically. Have you ever considered making your food at home and going to like a park or just somewhere else to eat it?
No, that's actually a good idea. I never thought about that.
Just something that you can have the break that you want without having the negative effects. Because it's possible. Like, I don't care, who says that it's not. Yeah. Eating out and eating healthy, it can coexist. Okay. You can do your research ahead of time, look at the menu, look at the nutrition facts, the calorie count, the fat, the salt, the sugar of every, entree at restaurants, and you can cherry pick things that are a lot better than others. Like, you can get salads, and you can use like a light vinaigrette instead of like a ranch or blue cheese, and you can get grilled chicken instead of fried. Some places, it depends how pre-packaged and prepared their foods are. Yeah. Some places you can even request low salt. So it just kind of depends. Because you probably have go-tos that you like to get where you go places.
Well, it's an addiction. Eating out is an addiction. Correct. So that's actually another big thing that I want to do is break the addiction of going out to eat, because, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk financial, but we spent last year about $30,000 eating out. Yeah. When we looked at our expenses. That's crazy. That's a lot. That's nuts. Obviously that's eating out and going out and having fun. It's like stuff outside of, but that required, food, alcohol. Like, that's for those specific things, that was like $25,000 to $30,000, which is absolutely nuts. So I would like to keep that money in my pocket versus
and while we're on the topic of work, you ranked the stress, your job on a scale of 1 to 10, a 7 on the stress scale. Mm-hmm. So could you go a little bit deeper into how your work is affecting your stress levels and maybe affecting your dietary choices?
Yeah, I really wanted to put like a 20, but my job is not a stressful job. So it's how I handle the stress of my job. That's the reason I put a 7. It really is higher than that, but there's brain surgeons out there. Yeah. I'm sure their job is a lot more stressful than a photographer who's at home editing pictures on her bed. It's crazy for me to put a higher number, but it's how I handle the stress of knowing I have a big workload that I have to deliver to clients. I don't want clients to be angry. I have to still get to emails and timelines and respond to Instagram and Facebook and just a whole bunch of other stuff that I have to do, advertisement and everything, So that all of that stuff is overwhelming to me because I don't have somebody to help me with it. So although it's weird to be stressed out about it, I put a 7 just because Well,
I agree. No, I agree. I would have ranked your job a 7 or maybe even an 8. Just because of the nature of you own your own business. Yeah. Everything's a reflection of you. Yeah. And you have clients that you need to deliver for. They expect a certain quality from you. And a wedding day, you don't get second chances. Yeah. If you mess something up, it's, even though in your mind, yes, there's brain surgeons out there, their job is of course more stressful because people's literal lives are on the line. But as far as clients getting angry at you and saying things that are not so polite, I'd say your job is very stressful, and I think that you have a lot on your shoulders that you're juggling, and you're living very fast. Mm-hmm. Every time I text you or do something or contact you, you're always working and you're always editing or you don't have time. And then when you do have time, you're either eating out or going to karaoke or something and drinking. Exactly. So you work hard and you play hard.
Yeah, the moments that I'm not working, then we're is that the word, indulging?
Yes.
We're indulging, we're overindulging on everything else.
In my opinion, and I've read research on this, motivation is it's like a muscle. Mm-hmm. You can get burnt out, you can get fatigued, and it's a very limited resource. Yeah. You can't just go run a marathon and keep running forever. You eventually get burnt out and tired. Yeah. Your willpower is the exact same thing. Yeah. Every time you get behind the computer and edit 1,000 photos or email a client or set up a session or someone says something nasty to you that gets under your skin, you're slowly eroding that willpower. My question for you is, are you willing to slow down and give up a little bit of like that extra because like the way you're doing things, you're making more money and you're spending more money and everything's just like constant. What about work a little less, be a little less stressed, make less money, but use some of that motivation and willpower that you're expending on your work and put it towards yourself. Because if you look at, just think 10 years from now at the current, path that you're going, are you gonna last?
No. No. It'll be hard to stay in this industry at 50 if I'm at my weight 100%.
Right. And would you rather, be able to last an extra 10 years and just slow down and maybe live off a little less hungry for, your business and a little bit hungrier for your health. But then once you get into the right habits and into the right mindset and you balance out your weight and you get to where you want to be, then you can ramp up the business and get back to where you were.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, and I'm definitely like, again, it's just getting the motivation to get there. Like I need a push to get that started. I feel like once I do get that started, and yeah, I mean, we already had that planned for this year. As you can tell, we don't have as many weddings as we normally do. It's because we pulled back on the amount of weddings. So we're already planning on, we don't really have a choice to eat out as much because we're going to be pulling back a little bit to try to get the business situated so that we are not always stressed, that we are delayed on things and, stuff like that.
Which, I think that's a great idea. Yeah. I've wanted to tell you that for a while, but it's your business. Like it's your hunger to grow it and to move up. But by the same token, your motivation cannot be split. You can't put 110% in your business and also 110% into yourself. There's just no way. Yeah. So if you really want to get off the meds, if you really want to drop the weight, a few months, just take a few months, slow down, get your mind right, get into the right habits that you can sustain. Because right now your habits are eating out. So if you can switch that to meal prepping, cooking at home, enjoying less like salty and fatty foods, and just working on that, then the business will come. Yeah. And you'll have more energy for it. Yeah. You'll be able to keep up with it. Yeah. So it's like give a little now, get more later kind of thing. That's true. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to use food as a coping method when overly stressed? You said 10 out of 10. So pretty much any time you're stressed, you immediately. Yeah,
if I'm happy, I'll eat more. If I'm stressed, I'll eat more. If I did one good thing and I'm proud of myself, I want to go, it's my reward. So I use food as a reward or as like a comfort. So it's kind of sucks that I use it for both things.
Right. As far as the reward thing, it's fine to reward yourself with good food every now and then. 2 times a day, 7 days a week is a bit.
Yeah, no, it's excessive and it's,
If you can, just for the next month, try to only go out one time a day. Okay. And just start there. Yeah. Instead of 2 times a day, 1 time a day. Start focusing on, I gave you a meal plan with some recipes. I need to tweak it to your liking a little bit. So I want you to focus on getting more whole foods into your diet and less like processed stuff you'll get from a restaurant. Yeah. And another thing I wanted to run by you is, have you ever gotten into breath work? Mm-mm. So when you're stressed, your sympathetic nervous system is through the roof. So that's your fight and flight response. That's your body's survival mode. Yeah. When you slow down and breathe, like deep breathing into your diaphragm, you switch your nervous system into a parasympathetic or a rest and relax state. Okay. So when you're stressed, you don't need a pleasure-seeking activity like eating. Eating is a pleasure activity. Yeah. When you're stressed, you need a soothing. You need relaxation, because a pleasure activity doesn't last. No. As you know.
15 minutes.
Correct.
Of pleasure
and then it's gone.
Guilt.
So if you had something that soothes you, you can get rid of that stress without having it come back in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Now after you explain that, I do know. Yeah, I used to. I mean, I haven't done it, but I used to when I used to suffer from panic attacks.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very common thing with people with like anxiety disorders. So it's a technique called coherent breathing.
Okay.
I actually did learn about this not too long ago, but it's really effective. I've been doing it every day. And what it is, you can start off just 1 minute. I do 3 minutes a day, once or twice a day, depending on the day. But you literally just breathe in for 5 seconds, deep into your diaphragm, like belly breathing. Hold it for a second, and then breathe out for 5 seconds. And you just do that. And while you're doing that, you try to clear your mind and not think about anything.
Yeah.
So you just breathe in. And you just do that a few times, and you'll be amazed like how much better you'll feel, how much less stressed you'll feel.
Yeah.
And it won't add pounds to your waist. You know, it won't hurt your wallet.
Yeah. That's actually I never thought about. Oddly enough, even though I used to do it a long time ago, I didn't think about me.
When you're stressed, you don't have enough oxygen.
Yeah,
So that makes you go into more anxiety.
that's true.
Whenever you're starved for oxygen,
Yeah.
like think about if you're underwater too long and you can't breathe. What do? You panic.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because it's like your body needs air.
Yeah.
Like you start hyperventilating and it just spirals. So the more you slow down,
Yeah.
get oxygen,
Yeah. It's a good idea.
it's physiologically like you can't not relax.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Your body has no choice.
Yeah, you have to relax. So now I want to get into like some more questions I asked. This one was, when did you first realize that your weight was affecting your quality of life? And you basically said that when you met Justin, whenever you started dating, you gained 50 pounds in a year. So I'm really curious as to how you were able to like your lifestyle shifted that much that overnight you basically gained most of the weight. Because then you said after that you gained 5 to 10 pounds a year.
Yeah.
Which is much slower rate.
Yeah, and it could have been even. Yeah, I think it was about 50. I was gonna say maybe it could have been more, but I don't think it was more. But yeah, I mean, when I met Justin, I was like 160 pounds or so, maybe 170. And yeah, I was over 210, 220, something like that by the time that our first year anniversary came around. And I think mainly it's because the job that I had before I met Justin it was physically active job. And it was 5 days a week being active. And then when I met Justin, I left that job and I got an office job, so I was sitting. So it went from like me not. Also, I was living with my mom before Justin, so she was cooking. So I wasn't eating out as much. I was eating at home and having an active job. And then I met Justin, and I went to no activity and us just eating out. Our main lunch and dinner were zebra cakes and Hot Pockets.
Wow.
So
That'll for sure do it.
And then going out to the bar at night. So we were literally like just living it up the first year. So there was like no, like it just, I went completely, 180.
So I'm guessing that's like when your addiction really started?
No, I think I've always been like, I've always used food as a coping, mechanism for my mood, but it was a lot easier to just ask. I was living with my mom. I was younger, so I'd be like, can you make me something? And it was always, I would always eat at home. I didn't eat out much. Like it was mainly when I met Justin that we just started eating out. So mainly it was eating out.
So you never did much cooking yourself. It was just
My mom cooked. Yeah, I never cooked. And when I met Justin, I never cooked. It wasn't until like years later that we started cooking.
So you guys were eating out like every day, pretty much?
Yeah, every day. It's been like that for a long time. I'm surprised I'm not way worse.
Yeah,
than I am.
So then you also mentioned that you've had a run-in with a little bit of success with Atkins and keto. So but you also said you're not a huge meat person. So these diets weren't sustainable for you, which, I mean, these diets are a great way to lose weight because what they do fundamentally is they cut out the crap out of your diet. But they also, like you said, they're not sustainable because your brain and your body don't like these diets. They're very hard on your organs and your brain because your brain needs glucose. So your body has to work overtime to convert the protein into glucose that you're eating. So it's not the best long-term thing, but it will give you short-term results like you saw. Have you tried any like higher carb diets at all? Have you tried any like low fat diets or Weight Watchers or anything?
Yeah, I did Weight Watch. Yeah, I've tried pretty much every single diet. Beachbody, Weight Watchers, like I've tried everything. But keto was the only one that stuck. But I was just very highly motivated at the time. I don't know what kicked in. I was motivated and I was able to stick with it. But anything that's like, if I have too many carbs, then it's very hard for me not to want more carbs. So I feel like what I'm gonna be successful is doing a little bit. I mean, I don't think I can cut out. I mean, when I say carbs, I know I can get my carbs from like fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, but I want maybe a little bit of starch. I don't know. I don't know if that's
No, starch is perfectly fine. Actually, things like sweet potatoes.
Yeah, like stuff like that. And I like sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
I know that I can't be eating like white rice and things like that. Those are the things that I'm trying to find substitutes for, but that I'll enjoy.
Do you like quinoa? Not really.
No, but I can stick with I can eat sweet potato every day if need be. Like I can do that. There was a time that all we ate was like lunch and dinner was brown rice and chicken and broccoli. Like that's all we ate.
The bro diet, basically.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what it is, but that was what we ate then. And so we meal prepped that and we ate that, and I did lose weight, but it was just a lot slower than like something like keto,
Yeah.
where it was like super quick.
So when you combine starch and protein like that, it raises your insulin response by like 40%.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that I don't want that because when it is raised, then I do get hungrier quicker. And I just want more of it. Like I just get hungry. I'm not a big overeater, but I will, if I only have a little bit of something that I really like, then I'll go in and
It's like a trigger.
It's like a trigger, and it makes me want so much more of it.
Yeah.
Versus I know that if I can do like just enough to like maybe not, or maybe just the specific food to not get so triggered to want more of it.
So you've touched on this a little bit. I asked what you think your biggest obstacle was in attempting to reach your weight loss goals, and you said your motivation, just because you focus on your work more instead of your weight and your health goals. And we already talked about what you can do with that. And a year from now, your goal ideally is to be 50 to 60 pounds lighter than you are now. You said you're currently 268.
Yeah.
That's as of?
Yesterday.
Okay.
I didn't weigh myself this morning, but as of yesterday.
So yeah, I did ask you a few months ago when I was originally gathering information what you weighed, and I think you were 262 then. So you have put on a few pounds.
Yeah, I mean, I recently lost like 10,
So
and then I fluctuated around
okay.
10. Yeah.
Okay. So the biggest advice for you obviously is the eating out.
Yeah.
Slow that down a little bit. We'll try to get you on a regimen. We'll wean you off.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to do cold turkey because what I preach is more long term. And a lot of people saying like lifestyle change over. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So we want to get you eating out less. Spending less money. That's a good, nice little side consequence of that.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to make like super complicated meals at home.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the big thing. If I could figure out like the meal prepping of stuff that, especially for lunch, is my biggest obstacle. Dinner, I think, is like a lot easier because,
So why is lunch harder? Because you just woke up and you're...
Well, I don't usually eat right after I wake up. It's usually like at least like, like normal 3 hours after, well, not normal. I know some people eat breakfast, but I'm not like I don't really like... I will eat eggs, but I don't love eggs. I don't really love bacon. There's nothing for breakfast that I like other than like maybe pancakes and
Which you don't want to be eating much of those anyway.
No, I'm not eating. But I don't even like care. Like it's once in every few months that I'm like, oh, I'm craving pancakes. I'm not a pancake, just not a breakfast person. Right. So I usually like just want to wait for lunch, and then I can wait a few hours after that to have dinner. And I don't necessarily need to snack so much, but I know maybe for the metabolism way, maybe I need to eat a little bit in between. I don't know. But lunch is just hard because I really don't know what to eat for lunch because I don't want to eat a salad every single day for lunch. Like just thinking about that unmotivates me.
Right. Yeah, I think eating 6 small meals a day for metabolism is kind of BS.
Okay, that is BS.
I think it's mostly if people skip meals and they don't snack, they're more likely to overeat later in the day. And the more you overeat later in the day, the more chance more of that is going to get stored as fat. Because you have less time that you're active. Like if you eat a big meal before you go to bed, you're going straight to bed. You're not burning that off.
Yeah.
Your body's mostly storing a lot of that. So you want to avoid eating like especially high insulin spiking meals with a lot of carbs and sugar within a few hours of going to bed. And I think even if you did that, you would have a lot of results.
So should I be eating a bigger lunch?
I would eat a bigger lunch. I think lunch should be your biggest meal. Most people is backwards. Lunch, they just eat it like a sandwich or something, and then they pig out for dinner.
Yeah.
And that's way more, you're way more prone to keep weight on if you do that.
Okay.
So you want to eat a good, decent sized lunch.
Yeah.
And then dinner, tone it back a little bit.
Yeah.
And another good piece of advice for dinner is don't mix, like you said, the proteins and the carbs too much.
Yeah.
And if you do have carbs, make sure it's a whole grain.
Okay.
If you eat white rice, or like a white potato with steak, you're gonna store fat.
Okay.
Because you got the carbs from the potato spiking your insulin, and then you got the protein and the fat from the steak also spiking your insulin. Yeah. So now you've got like a perfect storm of weight gain. Yeah. So I would recommend if you're gonna have steak, have it with greens, non-starchy.
Okay.
And if you have a lot of like starch, don't have meat with it.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other specific questions you have for me?
Yeah, I mean, my only question is, I would like to start incorporating like a little bit more vegan style foods, just because I know that even though that I don't like the foods, I feel like they're much healthier, and I only want to incorporate like protein from animal, like, you know, maybe 4 times a week or 5 times a week. I don't know if that's possible, or maybe just for lunch, and then for dinner but I don't know if I can even do that. Maybe just incorporating some vegan dishes for dinner once or twice a week just to get started.
I'm sure we can find some that you like.
Yeah.
It's not that, like you say you don't like it, but it's not that you don't like it, you're just not used to it.
Yeah, I'm not used to it at all.
So even if you have it once a week to start, and I think vegan dishes are very healthy. Some of them can be unhealthy though. Okay. Like you can get a deep fried like block of tofu like with breading, and that's the vegan dish, but it's not very healthy. No. But if you have like butternut squash with like a vegetable medley and something more like low fat, higher in fiber, then that's a great idea. I think that, I mean, even myself, like I did dabble with veganism. I think it's a great diet. Long term, I don't really recommend it in this modern society we live in, but I think that it has a place, and even if half of your diet was vegan, that'd be
that's
perfect.
what I mean. Yeah, because I know for sure I can't.
No, and there's no reason.
I wouldn't want to go like full vegan, and it, you know, unfortunately, I love animals, but it's not even for the fact of why a lot of people probably do it. You know, I just mainly just want to do it right now.
It's just like that motivation of how much work you want to put into it.
Yeah, it's another thing is that like eating at home, it's such a mess.
Yeah.
When I can just go out and like come home with nothing in my hands and the kitchen stays clean.
But yeah, thanks so much for sharing all that. That was really insightful. I mean, even for me knowing you, like I still learned some new things about you.
Yeah.
So that was really great. So I guess we'll end it here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
yeah, that's it.
I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'd like to I'd like to get you on a protocol
Yeah.
and check in with you, do like a little update in 6 months.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I think that would be good. Hopefully, I'm in a much better place.